love drug. It's the strongest drug on the planet that shows up in the form of female energy, and more particular, when you have chemistry with that energy. Then you start to experience, and it doesn't matter if it's real love or pseudo love, because the pseudo love has you can say, the mechanics of the real love, pure love. So it's going to feel the same for a while, but then it crashes later. That's the thing. And then when it crashes, people end up in prison, people end up dead, people end up crazy. Same as if you're doing street drugs. Actually more, because I've spoke at prisons, both men and women institutions, and I'm telling you, the majority of them are in there directly or indirectly due to a relationship gone south. Partner cheats on somebody and then they flip out or whatever. So this is a very strong drug. Why is it a drug though? Like, what's the answer? To quit? Like, if you're an alcoholic and it ruined your life, do you just quit? You quit love the same way you would quit alcohol or, another drug that's not good for you? No. The drug's strong because you can say the divine put that software in us. This is a very deep. We have different software. The self-preservation instinct, the need for to eat, sleep, to experience love. This is the deepest software. So you can't just renounce that. You can try. I see people in my life who have tried to do that, but it doesn't work. It's like they're walking around with the spring pushed down all the time, And then if God sends them the right person, they either feel fear and they try to run away, and then they feel like, why did I do that? Like, that was stupid. But I'm like, I want to avoid love because of all the consequences that come with it, and they tell themselves that story. That doesn't work. How do you do it? How do you work it? This is why I like to focus more on the spiritual axiom part of human life. This is why I have my other channel, Spiritual Renaissance, and we also do groups. I'm gonna have another group in January. This is what we focus on. We have to focus on transcending the human level. You can't learn how to function on the human level using like human tools, not in a successful way. You can't use the mind to try to figure out how to navigate this human existence in a way that's going to make you happy. It's just like, but we have to come to realize that. That's the thing. Like, I understand. I remember I saw my friend when I was in Florida. I've known him for, 35 years. He's over 70 years old now. I met him when I was 16. He was like 40. And he's constantly disappointed because he goes to 12-step meetings and he gets disappointed because he's sharing what he knows is true, what he's learned with, people who are 20, who like just quit drugs. That's all they want to do. Just let me quit the drug. Like, I don't know about all this other stuff. I still want to chase girls and do this and that. And he's trying to say, but look, like, this is just going to lead to more trouble. You can't hear it. I couldn't hear it either when I was in my 20s. I told him, I said, man, what do you expect? You can't like IV living wisdom and experience into somebody else, or get mad because they're not absorbing what you're saying. Like, they can't. This is an evolutionary process. Everybody's going to come to learn these things for themselves. And then these, you can say, words that I'm sharing, they're going to be your own. You just find yourself saying it like, whoa, I'm saying what like I heard 20 years ago. It's like true. Yeah, but sometimes you got to wait a couple decades before you see it's true. Well, then what's the point of even sharing this then? Because some of you already know this. Some of you, this knowledge is kind of dormant and it just needs a little stimulation to awaken more. These are the people I'm talking to. Obviously, I'm not talking to the people who want to learn how to date better and learn how to they just want to get girls. That's all they want. I know, I did it too. It's cool. But I don't really have anything to share for that. Like, I don't have any feeling, and there's millions of channels that only focus on that, videos and stuff. So it's like, you got plenty. We don't need another channel showing, what's the best technique to get the girl? How do you get the girl? Like, please, the YouTube's saturated with that. So I'm trying to deliver something a little different for a more select audience, and this is what I'm doing. Because you can't, I remember I made the last video about masculine energy. But they want to know how to be, most people want to know, how do you be masculine so I can get the girl? No, that's what I'm saying. Being masculine, you don't go chase the girl. Masculine is the essence of masculinity, space. You're contained with yourself. Why can more guys live out in the woods? I don't live out in the woods, by the way. I proved it in my last video. Yeah, you saw my room. But why can more guys live out in the woods than girls? Because guys, I made a video about that too on some level. I said guys, they're drawn to a woman, but they don't need a woman. A guy can stay out in the woods, man. There's Himalayan yogis that live in the caves in the Himalayas. They're done with society. They're like, man, I'm done. I just want to sit here and just chill, just do like that, play with my bat friends, snake friends. Yeah, it's not my destiny, but so the masculine energy is like, it's, you don't need a girl, so you don't run and chase girls. So when you ask, how do I get masculine so I can get the girl? I'm like, you can't. That's not masculinity. Anyway, this isn't the video about masculinity, but I found myself speaking like this. So what is this video? Are you drugged by the female energy, right? So as deep as a software program in instinct as it is to love and to be to be attracted to the opposite sex, that energy polarity, how do you get to where that doesn't get unmanageable? You have to go beyond that. What's beyond that? Spirit. You have to somehow come into a conscious connection with your own deepest, truest self. That doesn't make you into a robot to where you're just not attracted to anybody anymore. No, but it makes it manageable. You can play the game in the Matrix, to use that terminology, but you know that saying, you can be in the world, but you're not of the world. Yeah, that needs to become a truth for you. And then you go do all this stuff, but don't use your imagination how that might look like. Like, oh yeah, I'll just go play around, I'll never feel bad. Or no, it's not like that. You still have an emotional body, you still feel these things, but you don't become like a slave to it. Most people are a slave. They're a slave to chasing this female energy because it's a strong drug. It's a super strong drug. It was the strongest drug that I've ever experienced, especially if you have a deficit of that female energy. You weren't like nourished and lavished with a bunch of true, pure female energy from your mother or sisters or whatever. I'm not talking about playing doctor. I'm talking about just, like you were in high level family. Yeah, who has that nowadays? This is this particular time and age we're living in. It's about training. That's what it's about. So we incarnate during these times that are rough, and we get the wrong family and the wrong siblings. And it's just, everything's wrong. We get a body that's all messed up. We're controlled by our instincts. That's why I say realize your main purpose. Main purpose is to transcend all that. This is your main purpose in life, if you can realize that. It's not to have a bunch of girlfriends or 1,000 friends on Facebook or make a big money or go drive a Lamborghini. Like, that's not the purpose here for some of you higher level ones. You see, like, whoa, this life is a school. This is about training. Cool. I'm going to do my time. Just like if you're ever in the military, you do your 3 months in boot camp and then you're finished. Boot camp was easy. It was the school of infantry that was hard. So life is like that. It's a little longer than 3 months, but so be it. And it's mixed in. You have some nice seasons where you feel good and stuff. It's not just all hell. It might feel like all hell for some of you for a while, but it passes. A lot of you who are really destined to experience the highest purpose in this human life, which is to wake up, usually the first half of your life is pretty rough, but then the second half starts getting better. Okay? I've seen this over and over again in my life also. So you got to bear that for a while. Go through this special forces school that you signed up for that you don't remember, and that's what you do. So when you start getting drugged by the female energy, first thing, you accept it. Don't pretend like it's not there. Don't try to switch into some alpha male stance and be like, oh man, he got no love for these hoes. It's not like that. It's there. You see, because if you do the alpha male nonsense, then you're holding the spring down. You got to apply this. It's like a Hallmark card spiritual principle. Be meek. Be meek means you accept it, like, yeah, this is okay, this is some strong current, but you don't become an excessive slave to it and start chasing it or stalking them, or whatever form that perversion takes in your life. You accept it. You can't transcend something if you don't accept it. That's the first step. You accept it, and then you check in and see, how does intuition want to guide me to overcome this? This is what you got to do. There's no techniques. There's not techniques. Techniques are for the mind. We're trying to transcend something that's deeper than the mind. So how are you going to use techniques? The mind wants techniques. It wants easy. Like, people keep leaving comments about wet dreams. I have wet dreams. I lose energy. How do I beat it? I'm like, man, you can't. I'm not going to lie. I don't have any techniques. This is an alchemic evolutionary process. Trust the divine. You have to trust that. Give your reliance on God. Quit relying so much on what your mind's telling you, like, oh man, this is too hard and I keep losing energy. Who cares? Everybody's losing energy in different ways. At least you're losing energy trying to do something positive. So then that's temporary, this loss of energy through wet dreams, for example. You'll get your energy back. You gotta give time for this alchemic inner process to happen. You're gonna have wet dreams for a while. Well, it's better than looking at the internet and beating off. All right, so you're in the next stage. You're having wet dreams. So be it. You have to trust this process. But see, the mainstream, they're not even savvy. They're just money-hungry people. They know, like, they capitalize on people's insecurity and need to try to find a quick fix. So then they're going to sell you all these techniques. Try this, try that, try this. You might have to try those things to see they don't work. You might feel like they work at first. Why? Because some hope arises. Like, oh, I found a technique. It's just there's a medical term called spontaneous variation. I read that in a library book when I was like 15, but I remember it. It talks about how when you try something new, you can feel like, whoa, this is really working. Why? Because you're doing something new. It gives the mind some hope. It's like wishful thinking. And so then you feel good for a little while, but then it stops working. So then you try to find something else. But once you repeat that process enough, then you'll realize through living wisdom, like, damn, nothing works, man. Wait a minute. Maybe I do need to just somehow get in touch with this divine power that brought me here. It's probably taking care of me. It brought me here to life in this form. It created all this software. Maybe it's trying to help me somehow. Then you find your way how to listen to this help. Because most people, okay, let's say they get that inspiration, that epiphany, that they need spiritual help. Then they go to the spiritual world and do the same thing, trying to find techniques. What's the technique to find God? Everyone's like brainwashed now, especially in the technological age we're living in, to find the technique. The real freedom is there's no technique. You be hopeless. Instead of trying to be hopeful, be hopeless. And then you can find this spiritual power. In that hopelessness, there's a surrender that takes place. Then you get the downloads. Downloads aren't techniques, they're downloads, spiritual cosmic downloads. You're getting access to the higher software that in most people it's dormant. The only software they're aware of is their mental software. It's low-level software. We're talking about upgrading. We're talking about like Apple, like super Apple software. Not talking about this outdated Windows software. This is like mind software. So there you go. And then you'll still enjoy the female energy, but it won't drug you. It won't put a hex over you to where you're like, I need female energy. I need to get her in bed. It puts a hex over people. They get all hexed, vexed. That's what I tell my friend, because he's with a Brazilian. And I said, she's got you hexed and vexed and perplexed. She said, nah, man. Nah, I got this. That's the hex talking. When you're in a hex, you don't know you're in a hex. That's why it's a hex. All right, I'll see you.